Maggie, I need to tell you something. And don't overreact.
Zoe? What's up? Is something wrong?
Yeah. I don't have time for small talk or beating around the bush. Do not come to the wedding next week. Okay?
What?
I mean it. Don't come.
Why not? Are you drinking?
No, of course I'm not drinking. Adam is a doctor and his department chiefs will be at the ceremony. I don't want you there. You'll make me look bad. What will Adam's colleagues think when they see you?
What do you mean? I was really looking forward to seeing you in your wedding dress. You wouldn't keep me from being there, would you?
Oh, for God's sake. Do you think you're my mother? Don't make me laugh. In the whole time I've known you, 22 years, I've never once thought of you as my mother.
We may not be connected by blood, but I've always thought of you as my daughter.
I don't know where you get that from, but you aren't my mother. You never have been. So stop pretending, all right? And stop acting like I owe you something. You're not my mother.
How can you say such a thing? After all these years.
You were useful for all the years I was sick, but I don't need you anymore. I only ever thought of you as a member of staff, like a live-in nurse. I'm marrying Adam and leaving this place. Your job is done. We don't have any more use for you. And hurry up and leave my father. You've heard it from him too, right? He's had enough of you. Just sign the papers and get out.
He suddenly started being very awkward. Does he feel the same way as you?
You bet he does. He's had enough. The sooner you are gone, the better. You're stressing me out just by texting me.
You started texting me.
Yeah, to make sure you don't come to my wedding and embarrass me and my father.
You have been drinking, haven't you? Let's talk tomorrow, okay? I know you don't really feel this way.
I'm not joking. Just do as I say, okay? I don't want you coming to my wedding, and my father doesn't want you to be part of this family anymore. What more do you need? Those aren't even subtle hints. I'm telling you directly.
This is all too sudden, Zoe.
Pathetic. Acting like you have a choice. You've sponged off my father all this time, and you think you have some sort of authority?
Why would you think that? I've worked as a nurse all these years. I've paid for half the food, the bank loan, your treatment.
Are you serious? Are you really going to compare yourself to a doctor? You don't even make half the salary of my father.
Of course I don't earn as much as a doctor, but it's been more than enough to pay the bills. Have you never seen the nurses' strikes on TV? We are always fighting for better wages, and thanks to our unions, we have finally been getting recognition for the hard work.
Just don't come to my wedding, okay?
But what about Adam's family? I've already met them and talked about the ceremony. They think I'm going to be there.
Leave that up to me. I'll make it sound believable. I'll say you have schizophrenic delusions and are being treated in Austria. Or something like that.
That's your version of something believable?
Or shall I just tell them the truth?
What would your version of the truth sound like? As unbelievable as your believable one?
Look! Stop making things more difficult than they need to be. You can't come to my wedding. Stop trying to complicate things.
You want me to stay away that badly, huh?
Yes! Are you finally starting to understand? The reason Dad married you in the first place was to have a free live-in nurse. Paying for 22 years of care would have meant he couldn't have sent me to the best schools.
So I was just a maid. A talking Roomba. Is that all I ever was? Even though we spent 22 years together.
Exactly! She finally got it! Oh, and Daddy is coming to live with Adam and me, so nobody needs you anymore. And I think it's pretty clear that Adam's family won't want a parasite like you hanging around. So you better not come. Got it?
My name is Maggie Byrne. I'm 55 years old. I've worked most of my adult career until now as a nurse at a big general hospital. I live with my husband and our 27-year-old daughter, Zoe. Zoe isn't my biological daughter. She's my husband's daughter from a previous marriage. She was born with a rare liver disease, but 3 years ago her doctors were finally able to find a matching donor and she's made a full recovery with the transplanted liver. It's been 3 years and her doctors say the new organ is working perfectly, and she can now expect to live a normal life again. Ever since I married her father when she was 5, our relationship has been rocky. She's never once called me mommy or mom. On the contrary, she usually calls me, "Hey you," or "Hey," or if she's in a particularly bad mood, she simply ignores me. There's not a week that goes by when she doesn't tell me to get out. I can't think of a single nice thing she said to me. It's terrible to say, but I don't have any fond memories of her growing up. As for my husband, Greg, he's never once stood up for me. It's not that he really takes her side, but when Zoe is shouting at me, he usually just slinks off to his study and locks the door. But even though Zoe and I fight a lot, I was happy to have a daughter. I looked after her as hard as I could. I tried to make her life as comfortable as possible. I always tried to avoid arguments with her, especially when her condition made her weak and irritable. I don't pressure her too hard to keep up with the homework sent from school, and she was too ill to go. But she never accepted my kindness. Any attempt to get closer was met with anger and disdain. She never opened her heart to me, no matter how hard I tried. Did I try too hard? And then now, as a final insult to injury, she tells me I'm not invited to her wedding. But I won't take any more. She's going to pay for the way she has treated me the last 22 years. I won't let her get away with it. Some might think it's karma, but to me, it's pure revenge.
What the hell is going on?
I might ask exactly the same thing. I wasn't expecting such a thing to happen at the reception.
You didn't expect it? After I told you not to come! You ignored my requests! Just flat out ignored them!
I just wanted to see you get married. Is that really so much to ask? You may not feel it, but I've looked after you like you were my own child for the last 22 years. I wanted to make peace with you on your wedding day before you went off and started your new life with Adam. That's all.
Don't make me sick! You can't even see how ridiculous that sounds, can you? Why would I want to have anything to do with you on the most important day of my life?
More important than the day you got a new liver? Without it, you wouldn't be having this day.
You'll never get it, will you? You're just too stupid.
Well, I didn't expect my husband and daughter to shout at me when I arrived at the reception. I thought you'd be too busy and nervous. If we couldn't make up, then at least you could have let me sit at the back. You didn't have to pour wine all over me. That glass had a cigarette butt in it. I had to leave covered in purple but stinking like an ashtray.
It's the least you deserved. You aren't my real mother, and soon you won't even be my stepmother. In what world did you think you would be welcome at my wedding? You need to know your place. And that place ain't my damn wedding.
Got it. You only ever thought of me as a slave. Free 24-hour nurse and whatever your father thought. I wonder if he ever loved me at all.
Yes, that's it. And I can see you sitting on the fence outside the chapel, so for the last time, would you please get the hell out of here? Oh, and Maggie.
Yes?
I'm getting married and moving in with Adam, and Daddy is coming too, so we're selling the house. You need to be out of there ASAP. Next Saturday by the latest.
What? That's too short notice.
And I'm not telling you where we are moving to, so don't try and find us.
Don't you think you'll regret it?
No way! Why would I regret it? Goodbye, you ugly old maid.
I won't take the blame for what happens next.
You can't do a thing to stop us. It's goodbye to bad rubbish. Good luck with your life on the streets. I'm sure you'll find a nice bridge to live under. Your wine and cigarette stains will fit right in. Goodbye.
Have it your way. Goodbye for good.
Maggie! Answer the damn phone!
What could you possibly want?
Because of you, the wedding's been canceled. Get back here and apologize to everyone this minute. You want to talk about regrets? You'll regret it if you ruin this day. I promise you'll pay for it.
Whatever do you mean?
Everyone saw us yelling at you and dumping wine on your head.
So, why do I need to apologize for that?
Don't you go acting like the victim here. Adam saw what happened and he lost it at Daddy and me. He's furious. Get back here and straighten this mess out. Tell them you were trying to gate crash my wedding.
Well, that is an interesting development. I'm surprised.
Don't act all innocent. You planned this. You set us up. Now get back here and fix it.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Just before that happened, you texted me. You asked if I would regret it or not. Or something like that. How was I to know you had planned to have everyone watch?
Oh, I see. When you started telling me I wasn't welcome at your wedding and that your father wanted to divorce me, I went to see a lawyer. I consulted with him about the verbal violence I had suffered over the last 22 years, and he advised that I sue for damages. And that if you refused, I would easily be able to force you to in a court of law.
What? You had better be joking.
No, not at all. But before I could confront you two, you went and poured wine all over me. Your fiancé was so angry, I didn't have a chance. I'll admit it wasn't part of the plan, but it wasn't an unpleasant addition.
What the hell, Maggie? The entire wedding party is furious with us. The ones that are still here, that is. Half have left. And they took the presents with them.
You and Greg were horrible. It serves you right. And if there hadn't been any witnesses, you'd both be laughing and congratulating yourselves on a job well done.
Get back here and fix this. You've got to help me.
I'm not going to lift a finger. I helped you for 22 years and never got so much as a single thank you.
We're family! For God's sake, Maggie!
Oh, so we are family when it suits you, huh? How about the other time? You know, the 22 years I looked after you. Who drove you to and from all those doctor appointments? Who helped you when you were sick from all the medication? Who slept on the floor next to you when you were too scared to sleep in the hospital alone? And yet, I've only ever been a slave to you and a free nurse to your father. You said yourself you never once thought of me as a mother. You said that, right? So stop acting like we're family.
Well, yeah, but let's forget about that, shall we? It's all in the past. We can be a family from this day onwards. A real family. Daddy is nodding his head next to me. So rush right back, okay, Mom?
You think it's that easy? 22 years of abuse, culminating in physical abuse in front of dozens of people, all forgotten in a couple of texts? Damn, Zoe. They gave you a new liver but took half your brain by the sounds of it. I'm cutting all ties with you and your father. I should have done this years ago. You've both walked all over me for years and now you want help? To fix the mess you both created? You're out of luck. You'll just have to deal with the mess yourselves.
Wait, come on, Maggie. Mom, please come back. We'll start the ceremony again. Let's do it properly this time, as a family. I shouldn't have been so rude to you. I was disrespectful. I'm sorry. Just come back. Mom? Look, if you just come back, we can sort things out. Okay? It doesn't have to end like this.
Can you stop calling me Mom? It's making me sick. After the way you've treated me all these years, you don't get to suddenly start calling me Mom when everything is falling apart.
So, come back and we'll start again. As a real family. I mean it. Everyone gets a second go at things. Don't get all offended by such a trivial little thing.
Trivial little thing? You call 22 years of abuse a trivial little thing? Wow, those are some rose-tinted glasses you must be wearing. You've treated me like total crap. You and your lazy-ass father. I did nothing to deserve it. I only wanted you to get better, and before we had any hope of that happening, I made it my life to make sure you didn't suffer. And I never once got anything in return. What you did to me today at the ceremony was just the final act in a long line of bad treatment. And now you're saying it's trivial and we should all just kiss and make up and start again as a real family? No one is buying that, by the way. You're just desperately trying to cling on to the life you can see slipping away from you. Most people wouldn't stick around for a day of what you put me through. I don't know why I stayed as long as I did. But I won't back down now.
I got it. I'm sorry. Daddy is sorry too.
He's staying silent again as usual.
I'm truly sorry. I regret it all. I was sick. I didn't know what I was doing. It was the stress of being so ill.
You've been fine for over 3 years.
It was the stress of being healthy. I didn't know what I was doing. Please just come back. Don't make me beg. I take it all back. I deeply regret what I did.
More like you've been made to regret it. Anyway, I've made up my mind.
About what?
About suing you for emotional abuse. The years of slave-like conditions and now physical abuse.
What? You just said you got a kick out of Adam exploding at us. Are you really going to twist the knife further?
Oh, you bet I am. I did enjoy Adam shouting at you and your father, but that was just the added bonus. I'm going to do all I can to make sure you and that father of yours pay for what you did. When my lawyer suggested trying to take every penny I could, I was initially against it. But I can't see an ounce of remorse, so I think I'll follow his advice.
This wedding is costing a fortune. We won't have enough money to live if you do that.
Think of it as one of life's biggest lessons. Maybe now you'll start treating people with the dignity they deserve.
What's gotten into you? You were never like this before. Now you're acting all high and mighty and treating me like you want me to end up on the street.
It's exactly how you treated me for the last 22 years. Doesn't feel very nice, does it?
You're a piece of crap parasite. Latched onto my father for a free ride and then tried to suck the life and money out of him. I knew you were scum from the moment I set eyes on you. Even though I was only 5, I could just feel it in my bones that you were a no-good interloper. I saw right through you the moment you walked in the door. Anyone would treat you the same way. We've never done anything to hurt you. We did absolutely nothing wrong.
Okay. There's nothing more to talk about. Court costs and damages are going to be substantial. Added to the cost of the wedding, you are either looking at some hefty loans or divine intervention. Good luck.
You cold-hearted monster! Where's your sense of humanity? You're ruining my life on the day that's supposed to be one of the happiest. I was supposed to finally be off on my own with my new husband. You've destroyed my life.
Yes. I'm going to make you pay for hurting me so badly for all those years. I'm going to make your life hell. Maybe then you'll finally be able to realize how terribly you treated me.
That's going too far. I don't deserve to be treated like this. After all the suffering as a child.
That part I find hard to understand. You suffered so much from illness growing up, and you never once noticed the extra effort I always made to care for you. That's what hurts so much. Oh, and I found a new place to live some time ago. I won't be telling you where, so please don't try and find me.
What? I never heard about that.
I didn't say anything, that's why. I haven't told your father either.
Why didn't you say anything?
Every time I tried to tell you, you cut me down mid-sentence. As if whatever I had to say was so unimportant that you couldn't spare a second to listen. I gave up trying to talk with either of you.
You should have forced us to listen. Damn, you really are impossible.
Well, you shouldn't interrupt people and tell them you aren't interested when they are trying to tell you something. You're learning a lot today, aren't you?
You piece of...
And after I'd seen that attitude time and time again, I realized it was pointless talking to you at all and gave up. That's why I never told you about leaving. It wasn't through lack of trying on my part. You just brushed me off as you've always done.
That's not what happened.
Whatever. I'm done with you. I've wasted the last 22 years of my life on you. Now you and that wretched father of yours are going to pay for me to enjoy the next 22 years. So apart from the money you are going to pay me, I don't give a damn what happens to you. I doubt I'll ever see you again.
I didn't imagine you could be so cold and calculating.
Neither of you have offered any real form of apology or reparations. But I guess my heart grew colder over the years because of your treatment. I'm not thanking you for it. Obviously, a happy family would have been my first option.
I apologize! I'm sorry! Really sorry! I'll never be mean to you again. I'll tell Daddy to rip up the divorce papers. Anything! Please, Maggie! Daddy is reading this and crying over my shoulder.
Too little, too late. 22 years! Think about it. I gave you the best years of my life, only to be treated like dirt. I'd be an utter fool to try and let bygones be bygones and reconcile with you. The pair of you are horrible, selfish people. I don't know what happened to your biological mother, and I never really pushed the matter. But if you treated her even half as badly as me, I can see why she left.
You're not a fool. We deeply appreciate the dedication and care. We couldn't have survived without you. Maggie, please! Let's be family again.
I don't care about you anymore. I don't have anything left in the tank. I gave and got nothing but scorn and abuse in return. Goodbye, Zoe. And Greg, if you're reading this. The last time I saw either of them was when Greg appeared in court. My lawyer said I didn't have to be there, but I wanted him to see my face one last time. Zoe wasn't there. Pity, because she was the one who I really wanted to face what she'd done. That I would win the case was never in doubt. The emotional damage suffered was easily demonstrated with videos and text messages over the years. Not to mention the dozens of witnesses at the wedding. My divorce was finalized without fuss. Greg knew it was pointless to put up a fight. They sold the house to pay for everything, including the extravagant wedding, but were still straddled with a huge amount of debt. I've heard they now live together in a tiny apartment. Greg can't find work anywhere despite having been a doctor. I guess his reputation precedes him. I'm beginning to wonder if he ever really worked much at all. I did get a long-looking text message from Zoe a few months after the court case, but I deleted it without reading and blocked her. I'm back to doing what I do best, caring for those who need it most. It might take me a little longer to get back to my old self, but I'll get there. I'm not really a scheming and revengeful woman, but if you poke a dog with a stick enough, finally it will bite you. I suppose I could end my story with some cheesy line like, "Revenge is the best medicine," or "They got just the right dosage of revenge." You know, stuff like that. But I think I'll just leave it here. Oh, okay, just one more. After getting my revenge, I realized that holding on to anger only causes more pain. So, I decided to let it go and return to being the kind and caring nurse I always was. But if anyone tries to mess with me again, they'll regret it faster than you can say vitamin shot. No? Okay, I'll leave it there. Bye. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Feel free to leave a comment. Bye!